to move back to item D3, which is 1015 time certain. Sierra Nevada Conservancy, Linda Hansen, and I know Linda's joined by Bob Kingman. I know maybe Bob will be making the presentation. His name's up there on the board. But thank you both for taking the time to come this morning, and thank you for everything the Conservancy's been doing.
May I turn out the lights?
You may. You may.
Thank you, Chairman Hansen, members of the board. Linda gets your credit for making sure that we got on the agenda today, and that's why her name shows up on your agenda. I will be making a presentation. Bob Kingman with the Sierra Nevada Conservancy, managing northern half of the Sierra Nevada Conservancy region. And we're really happy to take an opportunity to meet with all of our county board of supervisors throughout the region and give an update on the work that we've been doing to invest the funds of California into the Sierra Nevada region. With that, I should probably start with a little bit of a refresher for those of you who aren't familiar with the work that the Conservancy does. The Conservancy is a state agency established by bipartisan legislation in 2004. Next year will mark our 10-year anniversary, and personally, I can't believe how fast 10 years has gone by. It's pretty incredible. We're comprised of all or part of 22 counties, ranging from Kern County in the south up to Modoc County in the north, up to the Oregon border. And those 22 counties are organized into 6 subregions, each containing either 3 or 4 counties. Lassen County is part of the north subregion, which was represented on our board since our inaugural board was comprised by former supervisor, now Assemblyman Brian Daly. We've had the pleasure of working with the chairman on throughout the years and making sure that we're responsive to and listening to the needs of the north subregion. Our board is comprised of 16 members, 13 voting members, and 3 ex officio members representing the largest landowners in the Sierra Nevada region, the Forest Service, the National Park Service, and the Bureau of Land Management. 6 of our board members are elected county boards of supervisors, one that represents each of the 6 subregions of the Sierra Nevada region. You were handed out a packet, and in that packet is a report that you see the cover up here on the presentation. That report really is an outline of the work that we've done to invest Proposition 84 bond funds during the last several years. That bond was voted into existence in 2006. And since then, we've administered about $50 million in bond funds out to partners and communities throughout the Sierra Nevada region. As you can see by the slide, Lassen County has done very well, receiving about 10% of the funds allocated in that bond measure to support 33 projects. Those projects came in the form of grants given to 11 grantees throughout the region. I was going to say your representation on our board has really served you well. Looking forward to now working with Supervisor Albaugh as the Sierra Nevada Conservancy liaison to Lassen County. The north subregion currently is represented on our board by Supervisor Pam Giacomini from Shasta County. Those seats rotate on a 2-year basis typically, but they're really self-appointed based on the collaborative work of each of the counties and who they want to send to represent the subregion. Those projects that I mentioned span a really broad range of work that's been done in the county, and they go to address the pretty broad mission that the Conservancy has. A lot of that work has been done to support wildlife restoration and preservation projects. It's been done to maintain the working landscapes that are vital to Lassen County, and a tremendous amount of work in an area of focus that we continue to put a lot of resources into is forest health, and certainly pertinent to the news that is pervasive in today's environment around trying to avoid catastrophic fires. On my way here this morning coming from Auburn, I was driving through smoke that was just unbelievable, and I know you deal with it here in Lassen County on a regular basis, and we're hoping that we can make a difference in reducing the amount of those occurrences. Grantees in Lassen County, I mentioned that there's been 11 to date. They include these organizations. They really deserve the lion's share of credit for the work that the Conservancy is taking partial credit for and helping, but they're on-the-ground people that actually take the funds that we grant out and implement the projects that are important to the residents of Lassen County and the state of California as a whole. There's one more slide that lists the remainder of that list of 11. And I can't say enough about working with those partners. They are at all levels, at the local level, at the nonprofit level, at the tribal level, at the state and federal government level. They are extremely important partners for us to understand what the priorities are, what the needs are at the local level in the region, and try and direct our assistance to those needs that elevate to the highest level of need. In addition to the grant funding that we have, we also support a number of different initiatives. One of those is the Sierra Nevada Forest and Community Initiative. And right now, a tremendous amount of energy and focus is being put forth to support efforts that will help our communities sustain themselves through the economic revitalization of the forest sector, with the end result being we have a healthy forest. So much arguing has been happening around either side of that spectrum, and we really feel that there's an area in the middle where collaboration and agreement can help to maintain our healthy forests and sustain economies in our communities in the Sierra Nevada region that survive or used to survive on maintaining those forests. So in that vein, we're looking at the opportunities to develop or help make sure that no more disappear our biomass, electric, bioutilization industry, and really looking at the three-pronged approach to sustaining the economic, environmental, and social well-being of the communities through an approach of using the natural resources that we have as the primary mechanism to do that. Another one of the initiatives that we've been really fortunate to work on is the Sierra Nevada Geotourism Project. This is a partnership between the Sierra Nevada Conservancy, National Geographic, and the Sierra Business Council. And it's a multi-pronged, multi-product-driven initiative. You see here are pictures of a printed map, which there's a copy in your packet. That printed map represents about 250 destinations that have been identified by locals throughout the Sierra Nevada region that populate a website, which is really the main deliverable of this initiative. The website currently holds about 1,500, a little bit more, 1,500 destination pages that have been put up by locals within the region. One thing you'll see here, Lassen County only has 16 active destinations. Those are all very high-quality destinations, but I see a great opportunity to increase the number of attractions, because I know personally that they're out there. I've visited several of them in Lassen County, and would love to work with the organizations in our area to increase that amount of representation on the geotourism project. The benefits of this really accrue to the counties in terms of increased tourism, which is one of our legislatively authorized mandates for the Conservancy, and that's to help promote tourism and recreation in the region. The website currently receives or has seen by over 1.4 million viewers in 113 countries to date, and it continues to grow in popularity every month. It's a really popular and I think a project and an initiative that is going to yield great return for the investment that we're making.
Well, before you leave that, so I think Supervisor Chapman has been indicating.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I do, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for being here, and thank you for making this presentation. The one thing, though, when you talk about this particular slide, and in terms as it relates to Lassen County, and by the way, this is probably the most awesome map I've seen ever. So in terms of the things that are on here, in terms of what we have available to us, just really in our backyard. But I was disappointed when I looked at this. I understand, in terms of destinations being like you have, they show here the Railroad Depot and Eagle Lake and Hat Creek, Valley. I mean, this is the stuff that surrounds, Lassen County, and they even have like a little music symbol here where there's a Trails Festival. And if you read in the fine print for the Railroad Depot, that box that's in there, it makes reference to the Biz Johnson Trail. But when you look at the physical assets, you have roadways, you have the Pacific Crest Trail identified, you've got the scenic, volcanic scenic legacy, and the Lassen Scenic Byway. These are all things that are physical features that are on the map that's there. But the fact that Biz Johnson Trail itself, which is one of the earliest railroad trail conversions that took place back in the late 70s, I mean, it's more than 30 years old, and it's one that's oftentimes featured by the Rails Trail Conservancy, which is a national organization. They put out a calendar every year, and I tell you, there's been some years that the Biz Johnson Trail is the only rail trail in the country that can get 2 pictures, but oftentimes they'll have at least the one. And I mean, I look at that as an asset, like you would, you know, the national park or Eagle Lake or things like that, and it's like absent from the map. I mean,
I
it doesn't
agree
even,
with you 100%.
yeah.
I've
I mean,
ridden the Biz Johnson Trail.
It's not a thing about putting on, you know, there for like, you know, events that are taking place, which are the 16 active type destinations. But I think that omission, you know, is like amazing. And for geocaching, which is one of the things that drives geotourism, I have to tell you, it's a very hot spot. And I've got several friends that from Reno and around, you know, former residents that have lived in the area. They come up here, and they've got stashed all over the place. And they talk about this like they talk about Tahoe. It'd be like not putting Lake Tahoe on the map.
Hopefully we didn't
You know,
get that.
so anyway, if you, for whatever
If it ever
it's
gets reproduced.
if the Conservancy, you know, can use its ability to influence the people who make this map, you know, put that 27 miles on there to let people know, because they come from all over the world. I've been out there so many times, and I've run into people from Germany and England and you name it, from all over the world that kind of travel to this destination, and they're coming here despite the map, this map, or maybe despite your website. They've been coming for close to 30 years, and I just think it's important that we, you know, that we include that. So I mean, I looked at this, I thought, great, but when I looked where we were, and going, like, why isn't it there?
It's a point well taken, Supervisor, and I completely agree that the assets of the region are I think, underrepresented, and that's
Good point, Bob.
and part of the, I guess, the silver lining to that is that this is an ongoing initiative, and we have the flexibility to continue to build to the greatest platform, which is the website, on an ongoing basis. And I look forward to the opportunity to make sure that we include more of those assets on the website. And as I mentioned, because I can personally testify to the quality.
I'll let you go ahead, Bob, and finish it up, and then we'll take more questions. But I don't,
Go ahead.
unless it's specifically on that, I'd
Well,
like
it
to.
was right, it was the same thing. It was just that the Ash Creek Wildlife Area, you guys have funded that, and that also is on that.
Yes, you're right, it's missing.
It is a big project, one put away.
Yeah,
That's another.
absolutely. And I have to, I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but this is a very small, on the printed map version, it's a very small percentage of the total number of assets that are highlighted on the website. And as with any partnership, you only get some of what you want in a lot of situations. Working with National Geographic and the local communities, it was a real challenge.
Well, the Biz is, you know, there are a lot of rail trails all over the country, but the Biz is one that is one of the few that is actually has the designation as a national recreation trail,
Yep.
which kind of puts it, you know, kind of one step short of being, you know, like a national monument or something. So.
I think Linda Hanson knows the location of
Think
that.
that well.
Yeah, she's the mother.
She's worked on it for a long
She is
time.
the, right.
Mother Hannah's a trail.
Anyway, Bob, go ahead.
We will continue to, I hear your comments, and I fully agree with what you're saying, and we'll continue to work to improve the presence and the number
The
of.
Custer Lakes Loop Trail was on there in Lassen Park, so.
It's okay, Jim, we'll get it on.
Well, it's not okay.
I'm glad that you're passionate about it, because that's what we need to help support the
I
project.
knew Biz Johnson, and Biz Johnson was a friend of mine, and I was there from day one with developing this trail, so I do have a background.
We have one annual, another initiative that we sponsor every year, and it's an annual volunteer event. It's and now characterized as the largest volunteer event one-day volunteer event in California. We hold it in partnership with the California Coastal Commission every Coastal Cleanup Day, and it is the Great Sierra River Cleanup. It's about a month from today. It'll happen on a Saturday, September 21st. Lassen Land and Trails Trust is partnering with us to help put on an event in Lassen County for that. It draws over 4,000 volunteers throughout the region. And again, that is an ongoing event that we always are looking to build upon. We came to this event after it had been in place in California for about 25 years, and in the few years that we've been doing it, this will be our 5th year, we've more than doubled the number of participants that participate in this event. So again, thanks to our partners in the region, we can't be effective unless our partners